Welcome to our weekly podcast of 3 Minute Therapy, officially called the 3 Minute Therapy Podcast. 3 Minute Therapy is a book I wrote called 3 Minute Therapy, and it's based on the work of Albert Ellis, the pioneering psychologist who devised rational emotive behavior therapy, REBT, from which many of the cognitive behavior therapies were spawned. And the basic idea, as we'll go over in this podcast, is that our emotions don't come from situations themselves, but rather our emotions come from our thinking about situations. But people don't speak precisely or accurately when they reflect their emotions. So some examples of semantic imprecision is someone saying, I feel guilty because I forgot my appointment. Or I'm jealous because my wife is having an affair. Or you should wash the dishes. Now, as we've discussed in previous podcasts, should or must are psychopathological shoulds or musts, are absolutes, and they're fictions. There's nothing that must happen. There's no reason why you should wash the dishes. If you let the dishes pile up, or if you threw used dishes out and always bought new dishes, those are options, not very good options, but it just shows you don't even have to wash the dishes. And another expression is, I'm jealous because my wife is having an affair. But again, if you go back to the basic principle, our emotions don't come from situations. My wife having an affair doesn't cause my emotion, but it's what I'm thinking about it. She must not have an affair. I must be number one in her eyes. I can't stand knowing my wife is seeing other men. So it's always the thinking that moderates your emotions. So one way to think about it is in terms of the ABC format. And it might be clearer if you write this down. A is the activating event. B is the irrational belief, the thinking that causes your emotion, and then C is the undesirable emotion. So if I'm feeling guilty after forgetting my appointment, then A is I forgot my appointment. B is I should not have forgotten my appointment. That's an irrational belief, and that's what causes my emotion of guilt. The should, and also putting myself down. I'm no good. I'm a bad person. I'm a loser because I forgot my appointment. So always look to your must, always look to your should when you're working on emotional problems. So that is our topic: semantic precision. Speak precisely. Don't say I'm guilty because I forgot my appointment. Say I made myself guilty by thinking I should have not forgotten myself my appointment. I made myself jealous because I thought my wife should not be having an affair. I got myself angry because I was telling myself, you should have washed the dishes. So it's always the intervening belief that intervenes between the event A and the emotion C that causes your emotions. It's always the belief that causes your emotions. So try to speak precise semantically, and remember that. And also, when you hear other people speak all the time, you'll hear people saying, things that indicate they think A causes C, that the event causes the situation. I'm upset because my candidate didn't get elected. I'm depressed because I got COVID. But it's never what comes after because is always the should or the must. Okay, thank you for watching this podcast. I'm Dr. Michael Edelstein. I'm a clinical psychologist. I have uh, therapy sessions where I teach people rational emotive behavior therapy. So if you're struggling with a problem or you know anyone who's struggling with a problem, please send them my way, and you could go to or send them to my website, 3minutetherapy.com. If you have questions or comments about the podcast, please make a note below. Give us a thumbs up and a like if you thought it was beneficial. Uh, Volunteer to be a guest. We have a couple of guests coming up in the next month. So you can volunteer to be a guest and tune into the 3 Minute Therapy podcast to stay on the rational side of life.